In terms of the kind of things that were coming out of our group and these projects, I think the importance of having really good examples, both of how it improved the kind of pedagogy and also, wherever possible, how it improved kind of cost effectiveness and the sort of arguments that people could produce in terms of this makes life better. I think it's one very strong message. The more you can construct those messages and have real examples and disseminate those examples, the better. Another interesting discussion was how you get it embedded in the institution and whether you can in some sense get your activities embedded in quality assurance so that again there's some kind of organisational commitment. And one of the things we came out to at the end is, can you get yourself into a position where it's almost impossible for the organisation to get rid of you on the grounds that there'll be too much hassle from staff and students for it to be withdrawn, and that I think all the projects we saw were kind of getting that way, weren't they?
Yeah, I thought that there were some very clear examples in there. The Hertfordshire approach, that they were actually working in partnership with academics. They weren't dumping something onto them. It was all about building on what was good about what they already did and building that capacity. But they were also quite savvy and quite canny to the need to actually work with the institutional business processes and embed themselves in that process so that they couldn't easily be got rid of. Lewisham had some fantastic concrete examples again of time saved, not having to print things out for students, the fact that they now had 3 open source systems for 1/3 of the cost of their old VLE, absolute music to senior management ears. And they'd also been quite concrete about the targets they'd set for learners and how they'd actually measured learners' progress against them so that they could see very, very clear improvements. I think that the fact that they've sold the benefits is very evident from the fact that what was a pilot has now become a college-wide system. So they've embedded themselves very, very effectively. Leicester gave us a very, very graphic demonstration. I thought we'd upset Gilly at one point when she wandered up with a suitcase. But a demonstration of before and after, the suitcase full of materials that you used to have at a cost of £700 and the e-reader at a cost of £180.
And see how the figures have stuck. Yeah. The figures have stuck with us. So
didn't even have to check the notes, yeah. And it's very, very rare, I think, with the use of technology to enhance learning that you can get such a clear example and put such clear figures on it. So I think it is good from that point of view. But also that they made the case that this wasn't just about saving money, it was about flexibility, it was about mobility, it was about being able to support students better in a different range of contexts. And it was also linked to a much bigger agenda in terms of open educational resources as well. The way they'd made this project work was they'd actually had to circumvent the publishing industry, which was actually being a block to it. They found ways around it, and who knows what they might have started if other people follow, then it might be the seeds of change for the entire publishing industry. Coventry, again, they were dealing with a very, very common issue of the development of writing skills, but I think we were able, through the discussions around their example, to show that they could actually sell this as part of a very much wider agenda, that it was about a much broader agenda of student employability, and that the skills they were developing in these students, it wasn't just about specifically academic writing, the approaches they were taking to the use of technology, to how they were peer reviewing. It was giving students a wide range of skills that would actually improve their employability in the future. Kingston College, again, I think we saw something quite similar to Hertfordshire in terms of working with the institution and working with the best of what it was already doing. They've got 7 models of blended learning, and these aren't theoretical things that they've tried to apply. They've actually generated these models through the project. They're showing people the best of what they already do and giving other people examples. The fact, again, that what started as a project is actually, it's able to piggyback on the fact that they're now rolling out Moodle to the entire college. So again, they're taking a similar sort of guerrilla approach in that they can now apply their ideas to the Moodle of rollout. So somebody stop pointing a camera at me, even the rollout of Moodle, to show that you know, they can embed what they've actually done in other college initiatives. So I think, you know, probably 3 or 4 things jumped out at me. It's about showing the best of what you already do, not coming in with something radical and different. It's about being able to link it to other initiatives in universities or colleges to show that it's important, it's about what's important to your institution, but also, as Peter says, to try and make it indispensable. And I think it was encouraging that the projects are so realistic about the world we actually live in, and the need to show cost benefits and to put quite concrete costing figures on some of this stuff. I think that all of the projects did it. It's not something that you would have heard from this type of group of people a few years ago, I think. So it shows that we are really responsive to the environment and the world that we're in.
I think 2 things that struck me. One is the advantage of working with a variety of staff across the institution, which was there in all the projects that we talked about. And secondly, I think all of the projects have got a plan for the future, either implicit or explicit. So Carol have got this kind of future-gazing diagram in terms of where they want the service to look at in 4 or 5 years' time. I think all the projects have got that sense of a kind of future trajectory, which you can see in what they're doing at the moment. I think that's going to persuade both the curriculum leader and the senior manager to go with it.